Hey everyone, Dark Brew here from thebrewhall.com and the Brew Hall on Twitter, and it is time for a Warlords of Draenor beta video, and I am here in the beta, of course. And now that patch 6.0 is available on the PTR and all the hunter changes are there for you to try, I thought it would be a good time to go over some of the changes that are happening for hunters for the upcoming expansion. So we have just pretty much hit the numbers tuning phase, so all the big ability changes, talent changes, and all that's done. Nothing mechanical new is going to come our way. It's too late in the development process. This is all about fine-tuning the numbers and hopefully getting hunters to a place where they can be the top DPS. Never mind competitive. I mean, people say, oh, well, as long as we're competitive, that'll be fine. No, we don't want neutral here, so to speak. We want dead. Yeah, we want to be able to do top DPS because we're hunters. Dang it. So I thought today I would go over the talent changes that are happening for Warlords of Draenor. So let's go ahead and pull up the talent window here, and I'm going to go ahead and start through the top. I'm not going to talk about all of these, but we'll really mainly focus on things that are changing. So the level 15 tier, post-haste, narrow escape, crouching tiger, hidden chimera, pretty much the same as they were before. No major changes, so whatever you took before, you're going to take now. Binding shot, no change. Intimidation, pretty much what it was. The big change here on your level 30 talent tree is going to be Wyvern Sting. This is mostly used in PvP, but it is no longer an instant cast ability. It is now has a 1.5 second cast time. So yeah, just list all this all, like, you know, do a successive boo and cry nerf here. Unfortunately, you can use it while moving, so I guess that's the lone bright spot. But just be aware that if you're used to taking Wyvern Sting, it has a cast time now. Moving down to level 45, this of course is our healing and defensive tier. Exhilaration, basically the same as it was before. The healing amounts have changed a little bit. Iron Hawk, I guess this is one where you can call it a big change. There's no more aspect of the hawk. That's gone. There's no more aspect bar. We still have cheetah and pack, but they're just abilities more so than aspects. At any rate, it's now just Iron Hawk, so when you take it, you're just going to get that defensive, the damage reduction is going to be passive. You don't turn it on, you don't turn it off, you just have it. And then of course we have Spirit Bond, which I think is great for soloing and leveling and questing, especially if you come in here and you're going to go those early zones in your normal and mythic gear. That's going to be great. You won't take any damage whatsoever. So no real change to that. So let's come down to the level 60 tree, and this is where things start to get interesting. Dire Beast does what it does before. I love this. This has always been a good talent for Beast Mastery, and it's just a fun talent to have in general. And I noticed, especially, I would encourage you to take this when you're out leveling and questing, because it will call out a pet that's appropriate for the zone you're in, and there's some pretty cool pets. I've seen this Void Wolf that I've got here, this Spirit Beast. That's actually one of the Dire Beast skins that comes out here in Shadow Moon Valley. I've seen giant Elix, and I mean giant, and Hydras that they're huge. The Hydras and the Kleptos, they're huge. I don't know if they're going to be this big. If we're going to see Dire Beast pets this big in the raid, but if you do, I think that'll be awesome, and your tanks will just have another reason to hate us. But enough said about Dire Beast. I definitely use that while you're out leveling. It's fun. Alright, now let's slide over here to the left, and here's this one called Steady Focus. This is new. It used to be Fervor. Fervor is gone. So if you liked Fervor, I'm sorry, I've got bad news for you. It's not going to be an option. They've now given us Steady Focus. Steady Focus, of course, you might be familiar with as the marksmanship ability in Mists of Pandaria. It is no longer a marksmanship ability, and was very recently, by the way, added as a talent. Now, it's going to pretty much behave the same way that it did before. If you use Cobra Shot twice in a row, or Steady Shot twice in a row, or cast Focusing Shot just once, you're not going to get the haste buff, but you're going to get an increase in focus regeneration by 50% per 10 seconds. So, not bad if you like some sort of mechanical ability happening there. You're going to want to take this talent. I don't know which spec this will favor or when it'll come into play. It's still very, very new and hasn't gotten a lot of testing. I would say it's good for marksmanship, but so is Thrill of the Hunt, which has now been changed again as well. And this seems like a very good talent for marksmanship. So the effect of Thrill of the Hunt, of course, is to reduce the focus cost of your next 3 arcane shots, aim shots, or multi-shots by 20. But the way it triggers now has been modified. So you now have a 6% chance per 10 focus spent on focus costing attacks. Ugh, that's a mouthful. To trigger Thrill of the Hunt. So what the heck does that mean? Well, let me just close the window here for a second. So your focus, what are our focus costing attacks? Well, for Beast Mastery, for example, of course it's Arcane Shot. It's multi-shot, Glaive Toss, and Kill Command, and of course other abilities would be Black Arrow, Explosive Shot for survival, Chimera Shot, and of course Aim Shot for marksmanship. So all those abilities have a percentage chance. So how does this work? Well, Kill Command, right, costs 40 focus. Divide that by 10, right, that's 4. And multiply that times your 6%. So basically what it means is Kill Command has a 24% chance to proc Thrill of the Hunt. So the higher the focus cost, the greater the percentage chance, the likelihood that you're going to proc Thrill of the Hunt. The lower the focus on the ability, the lower the chance to proc Thrill of the Hunt. That's all you need to know. And one thing to keep in mind too, since it reduces the focus cost of multi-shot and arcane shot and aim shot when you're under Thrill of the Hunt, the percentage chance for you to proc it again goes way down because the focus cost of those abilities has been reduced. Okay, but still a very good talent for marksmanship. It tested very well for marksmanship, and we'll have to wait and see if that continues to be the case when things go live. All right, let's go down to the next tier, Blink Strikes. Same as it ever was. Give me a lot of that same as it ever was. But it's a very strong talent for Beast Mastery hunters, by the way, and probably going to be the choice. And I emphasize that because one of the other big changes, of course, is Stampede. This is the same Stampede that we as hunters lobbied for vigorously and got into the game of Mists of Pandaria as a baseline ability. Well, it's no longer a baseline ability. It's a talent, and we're going to have to choose between Blink Strikes and a Murder of Crows. And, you know, for Beast Mastery, that's going to be a tough choice because Blink Strikes, as I said, is very strong. Now, Survival, on the other hand, is missing a burst DPS ability, so this might be the choice for Survival. And, of course, Stampede is going to be good for marksmanship as well. So this makes this a very interesting tier because a Murder of Crows has been redesigned. Now, we think of this as a single target ability right now in Mists of Pandaria. I think the focus cost is something ridiculous, like 60. And it has that awkward cooldown, if you will, that mechanic where if you use it on a target that's got 20% health or lower, it reduces the cooldown of the ability to 1 minute, and it never worked out very well. So what did they change it to? Well, it only costs 30 focus now. It's only got a 1 minute cooldown now, and if the target dies while under attack, the cooldown of a Murder of Crows is reset. So this is now an interesting AoE ability because you think about this. You know, you've got a bunch of ads out there. You pop Murder of Crows, the ad dies. Boom, the cooldown is reset. You find the next target. Pop a Murder of Crows, and on and on and on it goes. And I think that's going to be a lot of fun, but I think it's going to be situational talent, and I think you're going to want to use it mainly on fights that have this AoE component to it, sort of multi-ad. It might be good in PvP. I don't know. If you've got a lot of targets out there and you can find some low health targets, this is sort of a nice little dot, if you will, to kind of get that killing blow. So we'll have to see how it plays out. Visual on it, someone has always been very cool. All right, moving down to the level 90 tier, Glaive Toss, no change. Power Shot, same as it ever was. Barrage actually has been changed again. Now the goal here, the design goal, is to kind of make it competitive with Glaive Toss, even under single target situations. I'm not sure that they achieved that, mainly because the focus cost on this thing is ginormous. It costs a whopping 60 focus now, only has a 20-second cooldown, and the damage has been increased. I think one patch note said by 100% from where it was. I don't know. It hits like, I guess it hits like a truck. We'll have to wait and see what other people say. But the big thing is they up the focus, so you had to make, do a little bit of planning and thinking ahead in order to pull focus, in order to be able to use this at the right time. I think that's just too complicated as far as the logic goes. So I think Barrage for single target over Glaive Toss, not going to happen just because Glaive Toss is so cheap. It's very easy to use. So I think Barrage will end up being a heavy AoE situation, but we'll wait and see. The jury is out on that, but just understand the changes to Barrage. And then finally we get down here to the level 100 talents. These, of course, won't be available in patch 6.0. You'll have to wait for Warlords of Draenor, and the expansion comes out in November when you can actually start leveling and reach level 100, which you won't be able to do in 6.0. But you will see, they will tease us by showing us the level 100 talents in our tree, and they'll be all grayed out, like you see exotic munitions, focusing shot. We won't be able to take them, but let's go over them now, shall we? Because they're pretty good. I mean, you get exotic munitions. This is a passive ability that affects auto shot. The initial thinking was this was good for survival. It just seems to play in with survival's mastery of buffing up some of the elemental damage. It just did flavor-wise, but it's a passive buff, or change, I should say, to your auto shot. So there's incendiary ammo, which does AoE fire damage out of your auto shots. There's poison damage, which does kind of like a serpent sting kind of dot. And then there's frozen ammo, which will do some damage and will slow down the movement of your target. And you can only have one of these ammos applied at any given time. You can change them in combat, but it's a 3-second cast to do that. So it's a little expensive to want to change it kind of mid-fight, but you could do that. So that's a very neat ability. The next one that is tested, I think, pretty well is Focusing Shot. Now this is going to replace your Steady Shot and Cobra Shot. You can't cast it by moving, and it's got a very long cast time. I think the baseline is a 3-second cast time for this. But it does a lot more damage and regenerates a lot more focus. It works well with marksmanship as far as anything that I think Cobra Shot and Steady Shot affect. It will affect too, things like careful aim and so forth. So it looks like a very strong talent for marksmanship, but I've heard people say it looks good for survival. And maybe Beast Mastery, but the thing about Beast Mastery is they have this talent here called Adaptation. And it increases the pet's combat experience to 85% increased damage, and then they get all these extra abilities. Spiked Collar, Roar, Sacrifice, Cornered, Boar Speed, Last Stand, Blood of the Rhino, Great Stamina. So you're going to get all of these things. You're just going to get this super pet. I can't imagine that exotic munitions or Focusing Shot overtakes those in terms of damage and utility. So I think Adaptation is really the only choice for Beast Mastery hunters. Now, if you're survival or marksmanship, of course, you get Lone Wolf, which says you don't have a pet active. Your damage dealt with Auto Shot, Arcane Shot, Cobra Shot, Black Arrow, and Explosive Shot is increased by 30%, and you're able to provide one of several beneficial effects to your party and raid. In other words, you're not going to have a pet, but you will have access to provide some of the key buffs that the pets provide, which is nice. The big thing to pay attention to here is you'll notice there are no AoE abilities that are impacted by. You don't see multi-shot up here. You don't see barrage, and you don't see glaive toss. So anything that does AoE, you're not getting that increased damage. So, but other than that, you will do damage. This is going to be. I don't know how widely used this is going to be. I don't know how beneficial this is going to be in raids. I think there's a lot of skill involved in making up that damage that you're losing from your pet, and I don't know that just having it baked into those abilities is going to be enough for you to actually do the same amount of damage or more than if you had a pet by your side. So I'll be curious to see as the expansion progresses, especially this first tier, to see how often this is used, to see how strong a talent this is. And this might be something where, yeah, in PvP might be pretty good, or if you're just out and about and don't want to have to deal with a pet and have some fun, you might want to do Lone Wolf. But again, that's only marksmanship and survival. So there you go. That's the overview of all the talents and the changes happening in Warlords of Draenor. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these in action. And the reason I want to do that is they've changed the visuals on some of these. So Thrill of the Hunt's got a new visual, I believe. Focusing Shot is an active ability, has a nice visual, and same with the exotic munitions. I think they gave those some abilities. So let's go ahead and take a look at those. Okay, well that's a look at the talent changes for Warlords of Draenor. I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, stay thirsty my friends. Remember to drink your dark brew lager.